come into your life for a period of time or for forever, that, it has a meaningful impact. And I feel like in today's world that family is birthing a new reality of choice and constellation and ways about co-parenting and how people kind of, are stepping into what it looks like to be a parent, to be a mother, to be a father. It's so much broader. A very dear, beloved friend of ours was just over for dinner the other night, and he's a single man. He's on his own. He's a gay man from Iran. And, he, through the gift of surrogacy as well, just had a baby girl. And as well, he has this, I think, like a 2.5-year-old son. And I look at this cool man, so freaking courageous, and he's doing it. And it was his dream to be a father. And he's doing it on his terms. And he's such a love. He's such a dear heart. And I'm just so inspired to be around him and to learn from him and to listen to him. And I think it was just such a courageous choice. And I think that's also just for parents that are out there, for those of you that are on the path, maybe walking this path, and maybe you have a longing in your heart. Gosh, there's so many babes in this world that so could use love. There's so many displaced children right now with what's happening in the war in Ukraine. There's so many places of opportunity that, we can support life, whether it's for a short time, a period of time, or for your life. And life is so kind because it's so uniquely diverse of how it can come together. And I think when we follow our heart, we follow our guidance, our intuition, our instinct with things, it unfolds. And it unfolds so much more beautifully from my own experience than the way I wanted it to, or I thought I wanted it to.
Expectation.
Yes.
Expectation that we might all have in our younger days. And then something else unfolds. And it might look nothing like we expected, but isn't it beautiful?
Isn't it beautiful? So for those of you watching, thank you for your willing hearts and your receptivity to tune in. It's beautiful to have a conversation. Mary B, maybe about a month ago, reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in having a conversation. And I was laying in bed one night thinking, gosh, like motherhood, what does it really mean? And I recognize that it's so much larger than the identity of mother. And that, we're all blessed and born with intrinsic attributes. And I say they're divine because we were all gifted with life. So the source that beats your hearts, that's what I'm speaking of. And there is a mother aspect of it or feminine aspect of it, and a father or masculine aspect of it within each of us, whether we're male or female. And I think recognizing that gives us tremendous freedom and gives us tremendous creativity. And allows us to have access to both within. A lot of times, I think innocently, we think we need to go outside of ourselves to experience that, even though we do have that reflection. But we have a whole universe within inside of ourselves. And I think coming into Mother's Day, it just felt highly appropriate and sincere to be able to offer just a sliver of the gift of what it means to be a mother, what it means to serve life, what it means to embody and extend and touch upon something sincere, which is those divine attributes of the divine feminine within inside of ourselves.
Well said, Sage Robbins. Well said. Well, as a new mother, we certainly are still learning every day.
Yes.
But I feel like we've learned so much already. What are some of the lessons that you've learned already from relating to this little being?
Gosh, number one, how much innate intelligence is already within them. And I think in my own ignorance or projection that, once a child or an infant is able to identify or to speak, that there's a different level of intelligence. But watching our daughter express and like she has her when we bring her down in the morning, we have like a little kind of a playpen, and she'll go in there, and we call it her quiet reflection time, because she'll right after we give her the bottle and so forth, and then we'll place her in there. And what's so amazing to me is to watch her laugh, to watch her giggle, to watch her awe, to watch her wonder, to watch her troubleshooting, to watch her exploring and recognizing that this like perfect consciousness, this her essence is so alive. And a lot of times we as parents, we think it's like, oh gosh, I'm making her happy. What I just did made her smile or made her giggle. And yes, that might be so, but what is more accurate, and what I experience is just the beauty of her essence that's just flowing. And I actually have a desire to create more of a space that she can actually experience herself. And it's so interesting because, in the world of technology and devices and, whether iPads and so forth. And by the way, they all have a beautiful gift and a place in our life. But, they also pull our attention outside of ourselves. They pull our attention to other people's lives. They pull our attention out of the moment of what we're experiencing here and now. And so, it surprised me of like almost like the not old fashioned, but the simplicity, I suppose, of toys that I just feel attracted to. The ones that don't light up, the ones that don't entertain. Just because, like, just letting her be with herself. And, I don't know, there's so much distraction calling ourself external. And what I recognize, and we spend our whole lives trying to return back home, I'll speak for myself, through practice of meditation and inquiry and prayerfulness and, being aware and catching ourselves through this human experience. It's like, we're all living that reality to come back home and just seeing the perfection that they're born and that sweetness and that reality. I don't want to interrupt it.
Yeah,
I really don't. I don't want to interrupt it. It's too beautiful.
Me too. I love that idea of just let them be, that less is more.
Yes, do less. That's correct.
We read a lot of books in this house, and since becoming parents, we send a lot of articles back and forth, and you sent me one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I was asked the best parenting advice that I've come upon yet, and I know I'm brand new, I don't pretend to be an expert by any stretch, but one of the articles you texted me the other day was, I can't remember the article, but it was 10 bullet points from the Magda Gerber RIE philosophy, RIE, R-I-E. Magda Gerber, the late, great, born in Hungary, passed away in Silver Lake.